Need more flexibility in your Softr forms? With the recently added conditional form block, you can display different questions based on your user's answers and attributes. Conditional form blocks are super easy to set up, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to start using them step by step. Hi, I'm Tom from XRay.tech, the workflow company. At XRay, we use low-code tools like Softr and Airtable to build custom solutions for our clients and members. To learn more about XRay and our services, check out our website at xray.tech. To see more low-code tips and tutorials every week, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new way to save time. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a form with conditional logic in Softr using a new building block. I'll demonstrate two different ways you can apply conditional logic. First, I'll show you how to make certain sections of questions appear or hide based on user responses or user attributes. Then, I'll demonstrate how you can split your form up into separate parts and skip certain parts based on similar custom conditions. Let's get started. To get started, let's get our Softr app set up and add the conditional form block. In most cases, you'll want to have the app connected to a data source so you can collect form responses. For my example, I'll be using Airtable, but the specific data source doesn't really matter for this tutorial. In any page within your Softr app, add a new block. In the Dynamic tab under Form, you'll see the Conditional Form option. As of this recording, this block is still in beta, so some of the functionality may change a bit over time. For now, you'll have to select this conditional form block to create a form with conditional logic. You cannot convert a normal form block into a conditional one for the time being. However, a little birdie told me that this functionality should be coming soon. Select the block and add it to your page. Then, under Settings, you can choose where the form's responses will be sent. I'll keep mine connected to my Airtable data source and choose a specific table that already has the questions I want. Under the Questions tab, you can configure the questions that you want to include in your form. Note that the default form is split into two sections. With conditional forms, you can hide or display entire sections based on user responses or user attributes, but you can't hide specific questions directly. You also cannot move questions from one section to another, so keep that in mind as you're building your form. Anything you want to conditionally hide should be in a separate section from the main questions that will always be displayed. And it should be separate from any other sections that will be displayed or hidden based on different conditions. You can add more sections to your form by clicking on Add Section. I'll add several questions here to let users submit a request for a quote, and I'll map each question to its corresponding Airtable field. You can use any questions you want. Just make sure that you have at least one section with questions that every user will see, and at least one section that will only be displayed under certain conditions. To set up conditional logic in your Softr form, click on the Logic tab, then select the section you want to adjust visibility for. This first section has general questions for anyone requesting a quote, so I'll keep it set to Always Visible. This second section has a couple questions that are specific to design packages with a logo, so let's make sure it only shows up when the selected design package includes the word logo. To make a section of a Softr form only appear under certain conditions, select Only Visible When, then specify one or more conditions. When setting up conditional logic, you'll be able to access all of the user's responses in this form, as well as any user attributes that are available in your data source. My condition will be if the design package field contains logo. You can also add multiple conditions here and choose to display the section if any condition is met or if all conditions are met. But I'll stick with this one condition for now. Once you've configured your conditional form logic, publish your site and give it a test. I'll open up the published page and take a look at the form. The logo questions are hidden to start with. Now I'll select the logo package, and instantly the logo questions from section 2 appear. Now I'll switch to a website package, and the questions are gone again. Perfect. Now let's take a look at another way to apply conditional logic in your Softr forms. In addition to hiding or displaying separate sections, you can also split your form into separate steps, and choose the sequence of steps based on user responses or user attributes. Let's see it in action. I've got another form in this Softr app, which is used to collect feedback from clients we're already working with. This first step of the form has questions for all clients, but we'll add a step that will only be relevant for clients who had a website designed by our fictional design agency here. Go back to the Questions tab and add a new step to the form. This will add a separate step that can only be accessed after the user clicks Next on the first step of the form. I'll throw in some questions in this step that are specific to users who had a website designed for them. Once you've got all the questions you want in your second step, go to the Logic tab. When you select a step, you can see what happens after it's completed. By default, it's just a linear process. After step 1, it will go to step 2. After step 2, or whatever your final step is, users can submit the form. But by clicking Add Path, you can change the flow. So let's pick step 1 and add a path. Under Users Go To, you can select where users will go next if they meet your specified condition. I'll pick Submit. So this path will lead directly from step 1 to the Submit button, skipping step 2. You can configure the condition for your path however you want. This time, instead of using a user response in the condition, I'll use a user attribute instead. My condition will be if the logged in user's project field includes none of these packages that come with a website design. So if users aren't associated with a website design package in our data source, they won't see the step that includes questions about their website design experience. And here, under All Other Cases Go To, we can see what will happen for any users who don't meet this condition. They'll just continue on to step 2. Remember to double check your logic, especially if you're using negatives in your conditions here like we are. Negatives are not confusing, but they can be useful. Once you've configured your steps and paths, publish your site and test it out. First, I'll log in as a user who purchased a website package. We can immediately see that there's a Next button instead of a Submit button. I'll click Next, and here's step 2 with its questions pertaining to website design. Now, let's go back and sign in as a user who didn't order a website design package. The Submit button remains as is, and step 2 never appears. Perfect. All the conditional logic is working exactly as intended. You're now all set to start using conditional form blocks in Softr. However, before I wrap up this video, there are a few more quick tips I want to share so you can get the most out of forms. First, if you're testing conditional form logic based on user attributes, you may want to use magic links to quickly sign in with different test profiles. Here's how it works. Just go to the Users menu in your Softr app. Add a test user manually if you don't already have one. You can also add test users directly in your data source. Then, in the Users menu, just click here to copy a magic link, which will let you instantly sign in as that user. This can be a very convenient way to switch back and forth between different test profiles while you're setting up stuff like conditional forms. Next, let's quickly go over how required fields interact with conditional logic. The short answer is they work just fine together. If you set a field to required, but it's hidden from your user in your conditional logic settings, users will still be able to submit the form without any problem. They won't need to provide an answer for the hidden required field. So go ahead and set any questions to required if you want. It shouldn't cause any problems with your conditional logic. Finally, if you want to change the layout and styling of your form, you can find those options under the Settings tab. They're at the bottom of the section. In the same place, you can also choose to prevent logged-in users from submitting the form multiple times, and set an action to run after someone completes the form. For instance, you could redirect users to an external URL or another page in your Softr app. Conditional logic lets you create more versatile forms that accommodate a wider variety of use cases. Making a form with conditional logic in Softr is easy, so try adding one to your Softr app today. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Does the conditional form block give you everything you need to add logic to your forms? Are there any missing functions you'd like to see Softr add to this beta feature? Now is the time to make your requests known. And are there any other Softr tutorials you'd like to see on the channel? Your suggestion could become our next video. If you've enjoyed this video, prove you're human, like and subscribe for more automation tips every single week. If you'd like to learn more about low-code automation and workflow design, follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook, and you can find all of our content on our website at xray.tech. You can find all those links in the resources board down below, and as always, find your focus and stay in flow.